So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Michelle O'Neill accusing the UK government of jeopardising the Brexit deal. Now, Sinn Féin would, of course, be big fans of the Northern Ireland Protocol because of two major reasons. It kind of cuts GB off from Northern Ireland, and it increases trade between Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland. So Michelle O'Neill has accused the British government of putting the Brexit agreement in jeopardy. The Sinn Féin vice president also claimed Johnson and his party could not care less about the people in Northern Ireland, which is true. And let's not forget that Northern Ireland isn't, doing economically that great compared to the rest of the UK. At least, pre-Brexit, that was definitely the case. Economically, they're doing a lot better now. But point being is that they weren't doing the best. Theresa May had to bribe the DUP to go into coalition with her, and the Tories tried to spin it as, well, Northern Ireland need the money, and the bit she forgot to kind of say was, I also need their votes. Anyways, I think I 100% agree with Michelle O'Neill there. Tories don't care about a lot of people. Even Ian Paisley starting to get it, which is scary considering how much kind of has gone on. Even the DUP people, some of them are realising, do you know what? Maybe the Tories don't really care about us. That's how bad the situation is. So she says, there was never cross-community support for Brexit, Miss O'Neill told Trevor Phillips, which is true. The majority of people here, the majority of the political parties on a cross-community basis, voted to reject Brexit, yet it was foisted upon us. This Tory government and Boris Johnson has shown at every turn they do not care for the people that live here. It is in fact the British government that negotiated the protocol. It is in fact them who signed up to an international treaty which they have been putting in jeopardy ever since the ink was barely dry on the agreement. So we are not in an ideal situation. However, the protocol does give us the best protection and does afford us a lot of opportunities. Now, let's break this down, because she said a lot, and she's spitting facts essentially, like no lies detected here. The majority of people and the majority of the political parties voted to reject Brexit, which is true. The majority of the people in Northern Ireland, and by the looks of it, the majority of the parties rejected Brexit. The DUP were in favour of it, but they are not the majority. It was foisted upon Northern Ireland, which is true. It was forced upon them, just like it was on Scotland. This Tory government and Boris Johnson has shown at every turn they do not care less for the people who live here. I think she's saying they do not care for the people of Northern Ireland, which is true. It is in fact the British government that negotiated the protocol, which is true. It was Boris Johnson and the Iceman who came up with the protocol, ran an election, partially on it. Let's not forget that. It is in fact them who signed up to an international treaty, because the Northern Ireland Protocol is part of an international treaty, which they have been putting in jeopardy ever since the ink was dry, which is true, because since they implemented it, they've been trying to undermine it. And let's not forget, it was certain, members of the ERG who said, yeah, Johnson said he was going to scrap it after the election. So they had no intention of implementing this, absolutely none at all. So does this surprise anyone? No. She says we're not in an ideal situation, which is true. But Northern Ireland does have the unique scenario, which is that they can export to GB and the EU with no problems, no barriers in the way. Ireland are in that scenario as well, but that's probably going to change at some point, because we haven't started doing import checks on Ireland. But point being is that won't happen to Northern Ireland. I don't think we'll be in a position to start doing checks on imports from Northern Ireland to the rest of GB. So, the lack of kind of saying the good parts of the protocol, the Tories don't really talk about that much anymore, do they? They were in court trying to defend the protocol and the constitutionality of it, because they don't really have much choice. Miss O'Neill has said that cross-border trade between Northern Ireland and the Republic is flourishing as a direct result of the protocol, which is true. There is more inter-island trade than there has been ever before. She said the Northern Ireland Protocol provides mitigation against the worst impacts of Brexit, because it was only the start of last year, really, the first 2 months, where you saw shortages in Northern Ireland, and that was because supply chains hadn't moved properly. But, in the summer, when we had petrol shortages and other things, Northern Ireland weren't suffering it so bad, and the popularity of the Northern Ireland Protocol actually increased during that time, because they realised, do you know what, maybe I like having stuff in the shops, and maybe I like having cheaper petrol than the rest of GB. Miss O'Neill said, "I don't want to see any borders. We said from day one that Brexit wasn't compatible with our peace agreement, with with our Good Friday agreement, which is true. Brexit isn't. It put the Good Friday agreement in jeopardy. The Northern Ireland Protocol was the thing that saved it." She said, "I've never wanted to see the interruptions that we're now experiencing today. I think many of us warned against the dangers of Brexit and what it actually would mean for us in reality, and we are facing those challenges today. But we sought, along with the majority of other political parties, to find mitigation against the worst impact of Brexit that comes in the form of the protocol." They tried their best to kind of mitigate it. They have. But the truth is, there was a hard Brexit, and Northern Ireland essentially was a sacrifice so the rest of GB can leave the EU, the Single Market and Customs Union. That is what happened. So it protects our peace agreement, it protects the Good Friday Agreement, which above all else is the most important thing for Northern Ireland and Ireland. Protecting the Good Friday Agreement is the most important thing because no one wants to see a return to the Troubles. We're already seeing one war on the continent. We don't want to see all-out violence break out in Northern Ireland. Not again. It prevents a hard border on the island of Ireland, which the Good Friday Agreement is meant to do, and the Northern Ireland Protocol helps that in a post-Brexit world. And it ensures the continuity of trade across the island, which is obviously flourishing, and as a direct result of the protocol, which of course Sinn Féin are going to be very happy about. She made some very, very good points here, and she was on Sky News, Trevor Phillips' show on Sky News, so that's going out to a very mostly probably English audience. Her point being is that we want the Northern Ireland Protocol to work. And the simple fact is, it's not the Northern Ireland Protocol really that's caused the problems. It's Brexit, and it's the kind of Brexit we took. Had we stayed a part of the Single Market and Customs Union, we wouldn't be having these problems. We wouldn't. But we chose not to. And this is a direct result of Brexit. It's very hard to deny it. The people, especially who wanted a no-deal Brexit, this would have been far worse. Far worse. But, the EU are trying their best to resolve the situation. There are further talks going on, but not much in terms of progress. There are things going on with medicines and things like that. I'll try and get there at some point. I'm just really far behind, as you can see, as always. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.